Caitlin Clark, a name that commands respect and admiration in basketball circles, recently found herself in an unexpected confrontation. During a heated college basketball game, Clark stepped away from her usual role as a scoring powerhouse to address something outside the boundaries of the court, a heckler who had crossed the line. What unfolded was a mix of tension, humor, and a masterclass in how to keep your composure under pressure. But before we proceed further, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. The game itself was electric. Clark, known for her sharp shooting and uncanny court vision, was in her element. The crowd buzzed each time the ball touched her hands. But amidst the cheers, there was one voice cutting through the noise, a heckler seated courtside, relentless in their attempts to rattle her. Initially, Clark did what most athletes do, she ignored it. But as the game wore on, the comments grew louder, sharper, and impossible to brush aside. It wasn't just trash talk, it was personal. Late in the second quarter, with her team up by a slim margin, Clark paused. After a turnover that sent the ball out of bounds near the heckler, she walked directly to the sideline. The audience held its collective breath, unsure of what was about to happen. For a split second, the arena's energy shifted. Clark wasn't storming over or yelling. She was calm, her expression unreadable, yet it carried an unmistakable sense of authority. When she finally reached the heckler, the scene felt like something out of a movie. She bent down slightly to meet their gaze, a mix of curiosity and bemusement on her face. Her words weren't audible to the crowd, but her body language said plenty. It was clear she wasn't there to escalate the situation. She was there to take control. The heckler, who had been loud and brash all game, suddenly seemed to shrink in their seat. Whatever Clark said, it was enough to elicit a sheepish laugh from the heckler. She smiled, gave a small shrug as if to say, "Is that all you've got?" and walked back to the court. The reaction was immediate. The crowd erupted, not in laughter or ridicule, but in admiration. Here was a young athlete who didn't let the moment get the better of her. She handled it with a grace that most wouldn't expect in the heat of a competitive game. The heckler, now silenced, stayed in their seat for the rest of the game, their attempts at distraction having failed spectacularly. Clark's approach to the situation was a reflection of her personality, both on and off the court. Known for her sharp wit, she often uses humor as a tool, not to humiliate, but to diffuse tension and shift momentum. In this instance, she didn't resort to shouting or finger-pointing. Instead, her demeanor conveyed a simple message. "You don't bother me." It was the kind of response that spoke volumes about her character. What made the moment even more captivating was the way it resonated with the fans. Social media lit up with clips of the interaction, many praising Clark for her poise and humor. Some called it vintage Caitlin, a nod to her reputation for being unflappable. Others saw it as a teachable moment in sportsmanship, proof that standing up for yourself doesn't mean losing your temper. Clark's handling of the heckler also shed light on a larger issue in sports: the fine line between spirited fan engagement and outright disrespect. Athletes, particularly women, often face a level of scrutiny and criticism that goes beyond the bounds of fair play. Clark's decision to confront the heckler, not with hostility but with wit, was a reminder that athletes are human too. They're not just performers on a stage. They have the right to call out behavior that crosses the line. The rest of the game saw Clark return to her dominant form, slicing through defenders and hitting impossible shots from beyond the arc. But there was an extra spark in her play, a sense of momentum that seemed to stem from the earlier encounter. Her teammates fed off her energy, and the crowd was more vocal than ever, cheering every move she made. By the final whistle, her team had secured a decisive victory, and Clark had racked up another highlight-filled performance. When the game ended, the heckler remained in their seat, perhaps still processing what had happened. Meanwhile, Clark didn't linger. She exchanged handshakes with the opposing team, shared a few laughs with her teammates, and waved to the crowd. There was no grand gesture, no further acknowledgement of the incident. It was as if she had already moved on, her focus back on the next challenge. The incident became an instant talking point, not just because of how Clark handled it, but because of what it revealed about her. Here was a young athlete at the peak of her game, dealing with distractions in a way that was both mature and relatable. It wasn't just about shutting down a heckler. It was about showing that confidence doesn't have to be loud or aggressive. Sometimes the strongest statement is a quiet one, delivered with a smile and a touch of humor. Clark's response also struck a chord with younger fans, many of whom look up to her not just as a basketball star, but as a role model. In an age where social media often amplifies negativity, her ability to turn a potentially ugly moment into something constructive was refreshing. It wasn't just about winning the game. It was about winning the moment, and Clark did so with style. The episode added another layer to Caitlin Clark's growing legend. Already celebrated for her scoring ability and leadership on the court, she showed that her talents extend beyond basketball. She demonstrated emotional intelligence, quick thinking, and an innate ability to connect with people, even those who initially sought to bring her down. For the fans who witnessed the moment live, it was unforgettable. It wasn't just a basketball game, it was a reminder of why sports matter. They provide a stage for moments that transcend the scoreboard, moments that reveal character and inspire others. Caitlin Clark's face-to-face with the heckler was one of those moments, a brief yet powerful exchange that said so much with so little. As Clark walked off the court that night, she carried more than just the satisfaction of another win. She carried the admiration of everyone who had seen her turn an awkward confrontation into a lesson in grace and resilience. It was a performance that went beyond statistics or highlights. It was a reminder of why Caitlin Clark is one of the most compelling athletes of her generation, not just for her talent, but for her character. As the buzz from Caitlin Clark's remarkable game spread, the story of her encounter with the heckler gained a life of its own. Fans dissected every detail, from the way she approached the sideline to the subtle smirk she flashed as she walked away. It wasn't just her basketball skills that were being celebrated. It was her ability to command a moment, even one entirely unplanned. Commentators speculated about what she might have said to disarm the heckler so effectively. Theories ranged from a witty comeback to a straightforward challenge, but the truth didn't seem to matter as much as the way she handled herself. Clark's natural charisma shone through, leaving an impression far beyond the game itself. What set this moment apart was its universality. It wasn't just about basketball, it was about standing up to adversity with dignity and a dash of humor. Athletes at every level could relate to the frustration of dealing with negative energy, and Clark's reactions served as a blueprint for handling such situations with grace. She didn't let the heckler define her night, and in doing so, she inspired countless others to do the same in their own lives. The incident was more than a viral moment. It was a testament to Caitlin Clark's growing influence as a leader on and off the court. In a single encounter, she reaffirmed why she's not just an exceptional athlete, but also a symbol of resilience and strength for a generation that admires both skill and authenticity. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more engaging content. We thrive on your feedback, so be sure to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. Until next time, keep discovering and stay tuned.